Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I encounter throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you can click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. Kicking off the Tinker Day in the happiest place on earth. I am getting Dyne Audio speakers. These things are not paper, they're plastic. You could test them with a 9-volt battery. Get a little wire stripped away from them. Touch the wire on the speaker. And if the speaker thumps when you hit it with the battery, you know the speaker is good. This system has 11 speakers in this car and 13 speakers in that car. So I'm gonna get a few speakers here. This doesn't tell you how good the speaker sounds, it's just let you know it's not fried. So this speaker works. Time to check a couple more. One of my viewers needs light bulbs from this 850 rear wing on his R, and I believe these are the same light bulbs that go in the instrument cluster. I checked my instrument cluster. All three of those bulbs are blown. I don't know how that's possible. But anyway, I'm going to test these real quick. In here, I got the wire harness loose. I'm going to stick the wire harness in this jump box and see if the lights come on. If any of the bulbs are blown. I think there's 5 of them. Got one side pushed in. This is harder than I thought. There we go. Oh, might have it reverse polarity. There it is. All 5 of those bulbs are good. So I'm going to send him 3 of those bulbs. Need to put that jump box on the charger. Now, when this rear wing is installed properly on the back of your vehicle, you can get all 3 of these T25s out. If this thing is installed too far forward, you can't reach those. You got to make sure you can reach these before you secure this rear wing on your car. Those are some long screws in this light. Oh crap, somebody put LEDs in this one. Wow. I don't think I'm going to send them those. That's special. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 LEDs. Let me go through my stuff, see if I can find 5 normal incandescent light bulbs. I am really surprised that this thing is still lasting. And it's still got 2 bars lit on there. That thing's had 2 bars lit. I've been using it for 4 days. Getting off the Tinker Day. The other day, we was trying to replace the bulb in this BMW low beam. And there's issues. The bulb is not snapping properly in the socket. There's no cover on the back of the light assembly. And then there's no panel here to stop dirt from going in there. And it rained and it blew the new bulb. So today we're going to try to do it better. Not sure if it's going to be right, but it's going to be better. We're going to make sure the bulb clips in there and snaps in there properly. And then we're going to put something on this back of this light to cover it. And then probably manufacture a piece of plastic or something to put on here to lock this in to protect it as well. So let's get cracking on this. Let's get the new bulb, get it to lock into the socket properly. I have it locked in now. The flat tab is up under that clip up top. This tab on the 4 o'clock position was bent back. So I think everything's locked in now. I got it plugged in. We're going to make sure it works. Then we're going to figure out something to cover this up, protect it from the weather. I'm here at this BMW 328i. It has multiple lights inside the light assembly. This is the high beam side. You see there's a small light at the bottom. Your main high beam is there. And up in this corner is a little passive light that glows when the car is running. Your low beam is over here. Well, this light bulb here is out on this driver's side. And that bulb is a H6W. How you get at that, you turn this, unlock it, lift this up. Then you see the bulb holder here. You grab it, turn it counterclockwise a quarter of a turn, pull it out. It's got a rubber gasket on there, don't lose that. Now you grab the bulb. You may push it in just a little bit, turn it counterclockwise about 1/8 of a turn, the bulb comes out. I don't think it's a halogen bulb, but you may want to use a rubber glove when you put it back in. Grab the bulb, push it in, make sure your hands are dry or you use rubber gloves. Turn it to lock it in. Come down here, put it back in that spot so that your wire assembly is like that. You push it in, turn it clockwise a quarter of a turn. It is locked back in place. Good to go. Now you take this locking cap, you put it back in place, and you turn it clockwise to lock it in place so that you don't lose that cap. You don't want to lose those because moisture, water, stuff like that will get in there, mess up the inside of your light assembly. And it's as easy as that. Change the low beam headlight. You got to come in here, push this down to release this, push this down to release this. Ugh. It's kind of hard to push down. Let me get a pair of screwdriver. Trying to lower that down. Let me use two hands. Can't get that down with one hand. Pull this panel out. Then you got the light cover right there. You turn this, pull this out, then the bulb is behind there. That looks like it's actually melted a little bit there. This 01 XC60. Did you get these lifts too? Alright, we're going to replace those first so we don't drop the hood. Go ahead, let it down. Okay. We'll replace these hood lifts. We're going to replace these control arms. You see the rubber tearing on them. We're going to place these axles. Both those boots are torn. We're going to replace these struts. These struts are worn out. It's got about 230,000 miles on it, Gilbert. 220. Both of those strut mounts are torn out finally. So when these tear out, your shocks are probably worn out too. If you put new shock mounts in, chances are you'll mess up your new ones with old worn out struts. So are those the right length? Okay, we're going to replace these hood lifts first so we don't get our hands closed up in the hood. Driver's side hood lift was totally blown out. That thing's not even extended. Look at there. Push it down with one finger and it's not even extended. It's trash. Disconnect the ABS sensor, get that out of the way. We're going to remove the bolt out of this sway bar end link so it's not attached to the strut. Then we're going to take the strut bolts loose there. We're going to take the CV axle bolt loose there. Then we're going to take the strut loose bolts up there. Use a 19 to get that out. Next, I'm going to take this loose. I think it's a 13, maybe a 14. After that, I'm going to take these two bolts loose. One should be a 21 on the nut side, an 18 on the front side. New strut came with a bump stop, so we put that in. A spring is resting in there. You got to make sure that this spring is all the way at the stop there and all the way at the stop there, or that could be noisy. So we got a new shock installed, new spring seat installed. Where's that old spring seat? This old spring seat was torn pretty bad. You can see the crack all the way around it, and it was torn pretty much all the way around up top there. So it was past due, time to be replaced. Stop and dust boot, you can replace those too. These were okay. Now we're gonna take this control arm out of here and need to support this brake caliper somehow. We're going to get something to tie it up through there so that it's not weighing on the brake line. So we got everything back together. Got that torqued down, got those torqued, got that torqued, got the brake caliper back on, put a holding screw in this. Now the hard part. you see the bracket is missing for the ABS wire. You get those off of the old one. You have to get a super small punch or super small screwdriver like I have there, and you punch that through to the inside of the strut. You pull those two pins out. Don't lose them. Then you get them started in this plastic bracket, and then you push this plastic bracket on the strut like this. After you get it pushed on, now you tap those flush with this plastic piece, and they will hold that onto your strut. So let me hold that in place and tap those in with something. And there it is, folks. The little pegs are in. Now you got this plastic piece to hold this ABS wire again. Bam! We're ready to put the wheel on. And we need brake lines, as usual. Got this ball joint replaced. To get it out, I took a long screwdriver, or you can use a punch. Put it on there. Just tap it with a sledgehammer. Tap, 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 tap. After you pull those two bolts out. The ones I pulled out were 14s. The one that came with the new ball joint, them limb forders, were 13s. Then to get it in, I lined it up with the screws, started it, and then I took the punch and tap, 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 tap in 4 spots. Snugged the bolts down again, tapped it around again, kept snugging the bolts down while I tapped it in. And as you can see, it is all the way in without the special tool. This headlight shines the beam in the air, so we're going to replace that. And to replace that, you got to pull the bumper off. When I get this bumper off, I'm going to also try to lower these two hood latches a little bit, because this hood is up in the air just a little bit higher than we want. So I'm going to try to lower those latches about 1/8 of an inch. So, and pull these pins out, top and bottom. Loosen these T25s right there, so we could get this out of here. This bumper skin off. Got the suspension done. Then we'll replace this power steering reservoir, because the one that was on there was leaking at the seam, leaking down on the hose, stuff like that. Got that replaced. Now we got this serpentine belt tensioner, because we felt that thing was squealing. And now we look, the belt is coming apart. So that was strange. A lot of belt material in that pulley there. Power steering pulley's kind of firm. We're going to replace this serpentine belt tensioner because we got it. But there's a chance that it was just the belt destroyed. It don't even have that many cracks in it, but it was coming apart. So let me try to find these 12 millimeters. Those are hard to find, but if I just use this, I should find them that way. So the serpentine belt has a cut in it somewhere. Where is it? We looked at it earlier, remember? Or did the whole thing get cut off? Let me play with this, see if I can find this cut. Or did we peel the whole thing off? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ribs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ribs. Here it is. It's cut off at this last rib. Not sure why. I'm not even sure which side was the inside, which side was the outside. But when I was putting this new idler tensioner in, now this was having a squealing noise when we started the car the first thing in the morning. I looked down here on the crank harmonic balancer, and there's some metal there. Looks like some solder or something. How did that get on there? I'm going to try to chip that off with a screwdriver. But maybe that damaged that belt. I was able to knock that off, whatever it was. It was like a piece of solder had fallen down on there. Let me roll that around, make sure nothing is still there. That's the piece of metal that I chipped off of that harmonic balancer. For some reason, it looks like solder or something. I don't get it. But I chipped it off from right there. And everything looks fine to me. Almost looks like a groove hole in there. I wonder if somebody put that in there trying to fix a hole in the harmonic balancer. Let me run a screwdriver in there to see if that's a hole. Wonder if that was cut in the belt before, so they put that solder in there and didn't file it down really good. Weird. Alright, I ran the screwdriver in there and it cleaned it up. So it was some kind of rubber debris on there. It looks good now. Really strange. I don't know how somebody could have dropped solder down in there. Got the serpentine belt temp tenor on. Got a brand new belt on. Got that metal out of there. Put this ECU lid back on. All these clamps are tight. We should be good to go. Get this tire on. And we're going to service this reservoir full of power steering fluid. Then did 2 changes on the power steering fluid reservoir. And it seems like this car is sitting a little bit higher than it was. Also seems like it has a slight vibration now or wobble on the driver's side, but we'll drive it a day and see how that works out, and maybe the next day double check the torque on those axle screws. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.